This recording will be about the Java static keyword. Let's create a new project, a Java project. Let's get a main class with a main method. Let's call it singleton. Alrighty, and let's make sure everything is working hunky-dory. Okay, there's a hello. Now, in United States, well, let's not go there. We're going to implement the singleton pattern, mean one and only one. But let's start with a new Java class, and let's call it person. This is not static, not singleton. And let's say it has a public string name. Excuse me. And so in main, we can new it up, right? Person p equals new person. Calling the empty constructor. P dot name equals 1. This out. Name is right. And let's run this. Name is 1, right? And now, if I create a second person, so let's let P point to a new person object, and let's say the name is, let's call this person 1. Let's call this person 2. Person 2 name is going to be 2, and we'll say 1 name is 1, 2 name is P2, that name, and let's just print out 1 again after 2 just to make sure that 1 didn't change. We run this. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 1 is 1. That's all cool. But if we go in person and we make this a static, then there's one and only one name. Static means that there's one and only one. So no matter how many person instances I create, they all share this one and only one variable. Say that again. No matter how many instances of person I create, they all share this one and only one variable. So now if I run main, see 1 is 1, then it changes to 2, and it stays 2. So see how this bottom one got changed to 2 because there's only one of them. And actually, this is not what we do when we have a static variable. We do not create a new instance of it. We access the variable from the class. All right? That's the way we do this. All right? That's the way you access a variable because there's only one of them. And by not using an instance, but using the class name, it enforces that there's only one. So let's do this. Let's create the President of the United States as a singleton. So let's go over here to person, let's right click and let's refactor and let's rename this thing to President. President. All right, in the President, the President is going to have a private static string name. And how about the party that the president's in? And can we generate getters and setters on static? Let's find out. Oh yeah, we can generate getters and setters. So now we have, what was this now? We now have get name, set name, and get party, set party. And you notice how all these methods are static. There's one and only one of these methods, and when they're static methods, they can access the static variable. Okay? All right. Yeah, you notice how it's not this. We're not saying this dot name because this is referencing an instance of the class. And there is no instance of this class. Static, we have not newed up the class. So that's why we use the class name there. So now we have a president. And in main, all right, we're going to say president dot set name to John Doe and president set party to, what is a kind of a party? House party. Okay, there we go. Oh, and in president, can we generate a toString for this, for these static stuff? Let's find out. Generate toString. No, toStrings are only for instance variable because it's an instance method. Great point here. The toString method that it inherits from object is an instance method. All right, so let me go ahead and generate that. Generate the toString. The toString says, hey, there are no instance variables. All right, so I am going to return a blank president. This is an instance method, not a static method. Okay, so we've done that. Now the thing that's funky about this is we only want one and only one of these things. And over here in main, we can still new up the president. It doesn't mean diddly. President P equals new president, right? We can new it up. There's nothing stopping us because there's a hidden empty constructor in here. All right. And over here in main, we can run this. Run main. All right. Now, what we want to do, if we don't want to new up the class, if we don't want to new up the class into an object, we make this private. All right. There's no reason to new this class up. This is a one and only one class. It's a singleton, which only uses the one and only one static variables of name and party, and it uses static methods to access those. So over here in main, we'll see we have a compiler error now. Right here, president has private access, so we cannot new it up anymore. All right, that's one way to implement the singleton pattern in Java using just static class variables and static methods. There is another way, and let's go ahead and do that right here in IntelliJ. New Java class, and I'm going to call it president2. And under the kind here, I'm going to say singleton. Okay. Now, look at what it does for enforcing the singleton so that we can create one and only one object. All right. In this case, we would have private string name, private string party. Okay. Those are instance variables now, and we'd have getters and setters. And we would have instance getters and setters for this thing. Generate getters and setters, choose name and party. So you see here we have instance variables, not static. We have an instance methods to access those variables. But the interesting thing is these 3 lines of code. First of all, we've seen lines 15 and 16 before. The constructor is private, so nobody can new up this class. The only one who can new up this class is this class itself. And that's done on line 9. It says it's calling its private constructor there. And what it's doing is it's creating a static variable, our instance, to the instance of the object that gets created. And what it does is, if anybody wants to get this instance, it has to go through this getInstance method. So what it looks like over here in main is, for president2, you have to say president2, pres2 equals president2.getInstance, okay? You have to go through the static method to get the one and only one instance of the class. Back here on president2, on line 9, it uses the private constructor to new up this variable. And then it has this static method getInstance that returns that one variable. And this is a singleton. This president2 class news up one and only one object. And it holds it in a static variable. So you've seen 2 different ways to do singleton pattern in Java. Here in president1, you use everything as static, all the variables. In president2, it creates one and only one instance of the class, and you get that instance of the class through the getInstance method. And then you can do things on pres2, pres dot set name, set party, blah, blah, blah. All right, so you've seen the static keyword. The biggest takeaway from this video is static means there's one and only one. So over here in president, there is one president class, and there is one string name on it, and there is one string party, and you do not new it up. What you do in main here is you access it using the class, the class here. Boom, boom, which is totally different than what we normally do. Normally what we do is we new up objects. Normally what we would do is president equals new president, but you're not doing that in this case. Why do we have the singleton static methods? I used it in a job for a database connection. I had only one database connection, and I held it in a singleton class, and then I let other code get to it through a static method. So there is a purpose for it, and that's Java static keyword.